Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's IELTS class. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I will be your IELTS teacher today here at Academic English Helps channel. To tune into these live streaming sessions and get notifications, make sure you subscribe to the channel and watch our other videos as well that will help you to get a nice high band score on your next IELTS exam. Hello everyone joining today. It's nice to see you here. Hi Kamlesh. Hi Shekroz. Nishant. Bohara. Hi everyone. Welcome. Today we are looking at an IELTS Task 1. We will be looking at a diagram type IELTS Task 1 for the academic IELTS, and this will be a map type of question. The material is coming from aehelp.com. That's academicenglishhelp.com. So for lots of help with your IELTS, join us there with our world-class course you can use on your tablet or on your phone. There are 6 full practice exams. You can get help with speaking, writing, and all sections of the exam. You can use a coupon LIVE20, LIVE20 for a 20% discount on our website. Today, as usual, please look at the stream description for questions and for vocabulary. So we have lots of good vocabulary for you to learn for Task 1. For academic IELTS, there are definitely some specific words that you need to learn to write for tables, graphs, and charts. Oh, look at that. Someone got a 7.0 band score. That's awesome. I can't read Cyrillic, so I can't read your name, but congratulations. I'm very happy that you got a 7. That's awesome. That's what many of our students do. Many of our students get some nice high scores when they follow our lessons and our strategies. Let me show you where this vocabulary is as we get going today. So if you go online again and you go to aehelp.com, once you are a full user, we have a free demo account, by the way, as well, guys and girls. But once you're a full user, you can log in. And when you log in, there is a lot of help for you in our website, including our blog, which is at the top right there. And in our blog, we have some really important topics for IELTS, like IELTS vocabulary for high scores. And then if you keep going down in the blog, you will find this one here, which is Academic IELTS Task 1, Useful Vocabulary for Graphs and Diagrams. And then when you click on Read More, which is just beside my head here, then you will see a description of what you need to pay attention to for IELTS Task 1. And then there will be a nicely organized list of up verbs here, of some down verbs here, and then some important notes, adjective, adverbs. So anyway, make sure you go to our website and check out this vocabulary. Again, you will see the URL in your stream description, okay? So this website address at the top, it's in your stream description. So after the lesson or during the lesson, you can open a new window and then copy paste that URL in, and then you can get that vocabulary to study later on. Of course, I will teach you some good vocabulary today as we do this practice sample skills and strategies for our Task 1 question. So, again, that's our website. This is where the materials are coming from. Make sure you do visit us there. And let's look at the question for today. So, here we go. This is the map that we will be using. Don't worry, I will zoom in so you can see the details more clearly. All right, so first things first, let's look at the question. So here we have our writing task 1. Again, guys and girls, I still have a broken leg. That's why I'm sitting for most of the lesson. As some of you know, I usually like to get up and move around a lot. I'm an antsy person. But because my left leg is broken from a hockey injury, I still will be sitting probably for about the next 3 weeks of lessons. Also, a really important note, we're moving our office this next week. So our next live class will continue March 6th because we're setting up a new office. So we'll have more times, more lessons, okay? Thank you, Abhik, for your get well wish. I appreciate that. So again, we will be moving our offices, so our live streaming will be continuing March 6th. So this will be the last live stream for the next 10 days or so. But don't worry, we have our website. You can join us there. You can always send an email. Okay, here we go. You should spend about 20 minutes on this task. So writing task 1, it's worth 1/3 of your total mark for the writing section, which means it's worth about 35% of your writing mark. Don't skip it. Write it first. Definitely recommend writing task 1 before task 2. It's a better strategy because it allows you to warm up your writing skills, and so you'll do better in writing task 2, which is worth about 65% of your mark. Make sure that you follow the proper timing, and you spend no more than 20 minutes on task 1. So don't take time from task 2, okay? It's very important that you save 40 minutes for task 2. The examiner will not tell you usually when your 20 minutes is up in the writing section, so you have to pay attention. Okay, here we go. The map below shows 2 proposed sites for a new adventure company in the Caribbean, okay, or Caribbean. So oftentimes maps will ask you to compare and contrast 2 locations. That's very common. Okay, and it says here, summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So definitely that's what you want to do here, okay? Remember, for academic IELTS Task 1, there are 6 possible types of questions. This is a map diagram. There are also bar charts, line graphs, pie charts, flow charts, and tables. So those are the other types. We've done some lessons on those. Many people asked us to do a map lesson, so we're doing a map lesson today. Okay, write no more than 150 words. All right. Write at least 150 words minimum. If you write less than 150 words, you will start losing scores, okay? So you will start losing scores if you don't write 150 words. So make sure you do 150 words at least. Okay, let's begin with a couple of notes here. So IELTS Task 1. What is your first step in IELTS Task 1? What is your first step? So what should you do first? And IELTS Task 1 has 3 parts. So Raya says, analyze the question. Look at the map. Saeed says, analyze the question. Yes, absolutely. You need to analyze the question, and you need to identify something. What do you identify? So IELTS Task 1 has 3 parts. It has an overview, which is the introduction. Okay, that should be the same, introduction and the overview. It has a body paragraph, which is the analyses. Spelt A-N-A-L-Y-S-E-S for plural. And then it has a summary, not a conclusion, okay? So overview introduction is the first one, then it's body, then it's the summary. All right? Abhishek, I'm not sure what you mean by please edit your voice. The microphone seems good on my end, so you might need to check it on your end. If anybody's having trouble with the sound, do let me know. All right, so 3 parts: overview, introduction, body paragraph, analyses, and summary. And the first step, as some of you said, is to analyze the question. So look at the question carefully and analyze it. Okay, what should you do when you're... thanks, Fatime, for confirming that the sound is good. Saeed says it's static. Some of you are saying sound is perfect. So likely it's not on my end. If it's not the same for everyone, the sound is probably on your end if it's not good. Something with the internet. Make sure you're not running other programs and check your audio settings. Okay, guys and girls, so we're looking at the question carefully, we're analyzing it, and what do we do in the first 1 minute before we begin writing? So what do we need to do in the first minute before we begin writing? We always do use critical thinking, Said, but I'm not thinking about that right now. Post Office says determine the key features, analyze the question, analyze main points of the map. In fact, you want to indicate your points of analysis. So this is very, very important. Mark your points of comparison in a rank order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. So that's your step number 1. Okay, so here we have our map, and I'll zoom in a little bit so you can look at this. I'll move it around a little bit. So this is an island here. You can see that it gives us the north point up here. It says pyramid point here. And then we have site 1, which is right here. Site 1 is close to Georgetown, Cross Hill, and the base. We have site 2 here, which is close to the Two Boats Village and obviously closer to the peak. Also, we can see some symbols. So we can see these circles here that are indicated as craters. And then we can see some triangles, some squares, some yellow lines, some blue lines. Those lines are indicated in the legend. Okay, so this is the legend. When you see a map, maps include a legend. Okay, the legend is the definition of the symbols. So here you have a triangle. That means it's animal habitat. That's where animals can be found. The blue lines indicate waterways. So there we're talking about rivers, streams, creeks, and so forth. And then the yellow lines indicate roadways. Okay, so that's the legend. Now, in IELTS, you will not always see the word legend. So make sure you learn this vocabulary, okay? It's very important. So Again, learn this vocabulary. Put that up there for you. So this is a quick vocabulary piece here, if you get a map. Legend is the table which describes the meaning of symbols in a map. Okay, so just remember that a legend is a table which describes symbols in a map. Okay, that's the map key, and it's a good word to know for your writing. It helps you reference the map. Okay, so here we have site 1, and here we have site 2. Okay, now the question is asking us to compare and contrast site 1 and site 2. So can anybody tell me some information about site 1? What is some information about site 1 that I should indicate as interesting points of comparison? And you should talk about one before the other. So what is interesting about site 1? What are some noticeable, important features of site 1? Safa, very good. It has a coastline. Absolutely. So again, remember, site 1, site 2 represent where an adventure company, maybe like a safari, will locate its business. So site 1 is close to the coastline, as Safa said. So that's good. That's a good point of comparison, okay? So close to the coastline. There are a couple rivers. So there's a river here, there's a river here. Okay, it's definitely at the intersection of 3 roadways. So we have a road here, we have a road here. So definitely that's a good point to make, that it's located at the intersection of 3 roads. There's no animal habitat. Yep, that's absolutely a good point. So conversely, site 2 is close to 3 animal habitats. Okay, and remember, guys, this is an adventure company, so sea trade is a bit tricky. It's located between the base and Cross Hill and Georgetown. Absolutely. So here we have Cross Hill, here we have Georgetown, and here we have the base, which means we have some good human populations there. So that can be number 3. Okay, and what else do we see? What else do we see? Let's see. All right, they're connected through roads. Okay, 3 points here is okay. Let's talk about site 2. So again, site 1, close to the coastline. It has 3 roads connecting around it, and it has Georgetown, which is the largest city on the island. It has the base nearby and Cross Hill. Let's talk about site 2. Yes, this is the airport. It looks like an airport, but it's not indicated, okay? It doesn't say airport, so don't talk about things that are not marked. But that was a good question anyway. Okay, so site 2 is located between 2 big river arms here. Yep, that's definitely a good point to make, that it's right on a riverway. In fact, here it's right on the riverway. Okay, it's surrounded by animal habitat. Yeah, definitely. So we have animal habitat there. So it's surrounded by animal habitat. Excellent. What else can we see? It's located near Two Boats Village. Very good. Yep. Absolutely. So there's a village nearby where there could be amenities. Absolutely. Yeah, very good. Who said that? That was Ushantha. Very good. Yeah, it's near this peak here. So that's another point there, that it's located near this mountain peak, and it's very good chance that a lot of tourists who are visiting this island likely go to visit the mountaintop here, the peak. Okay. And we can see that there are also 3 roadways here. So there's a road there and there's a road here. So there are 3 roadways here. So we could say 8 there. Okay. All right. So now we have 8 points of comparison with our map. Before we begin to write about these points, we need to write the overview. Okay, so don't forget that step 1, first with the introduction, is the overview. And the overview is just general to the whole map. So here we have the whole map. Okay. And for the whole map, it's a good idea to paraphrase a bit of the question, okay, and give some general information. So let's do that first. So let's write the overview first. Now, very importantly, when you paraphrase the question, let me just erase all of our markings here. We can come back to that when we're writing the analysis. Okay. So when you paraphrase the question, it's very important that you give more details than what the question includes. Okay. So for your overview, you can paraphrase the question, but give more detail than what the question includes. Okay? So very important. So here the question says, the map below shows the 2 proposed sites for a new adventure company in the Caribbean. Okay, so let's write the overview. Can somebody give me the first sentence for the overview? Can anyone give me a suggestion for the first sentence of the overview? Before I write it up. So, as we can see, good start. The map shows the 2 sites. This map shows the 2 proposed sites. Yep, let's change the word shows to depicts. It's a nicer, higher level vocabulary. What's another way to say adventure company? It's a different way to say adventure company. For a tourist company on a Caribbean island. Okay, so this is not enough for the overview. You need to add more information here. The first site is planned closer to the seaboard or the coast, as where the second site is inland. Okay, so we talked about this. These were 2 points of our comparison. The first site is planned close to the coast, as where the second site is inland. So the location, the general location of these 2 sites. And then I can say a little bit about the legend. The legend describes the symbols shown in the map as animal habitat, road and waterways. Okay? So this is enough for the overview. As we can see, this map depicts the two proposed sites for a tourist company on a Caribbean island. The first site is planned closer to the coast, as with the second site is inland. The legend describes the symbols shown in the map as animal habitat, road, and waterways. Okay, so this is enough for your overview. This gives the reader a general idea of what you're looking at and what you're going to analyze. Yes, Shilpa, thank you for answering that question. The legend is the description of the symbols. Okay, every map has that. Make sure you know that word. If you're traveling somewhere in the world, that could be an important piece of vocabulary to know. All right. Now we can start our comparisons. So let's go back to the map and let's see what we're going to describe first. So here's our map. Again, there's our two sites. What is a good sentence for our first analysis? What is our good one for our first? Remember what we marked before when we looked at these. Of course, in the IELTS, you would still have those. I just had to erase it so it's not confusing. So what is a good compare and contrast to begin our analysis with? Satora, we already used the coastline in the overview. We mentioned that Site 1 is located closer to the coast, as where Site 2 is inland. That's the most general piece of information, so we included that in the overview, Satora. So we don't want to repeat that. We want to go to our next point of comparison. Yeah, so describe where Site 1 is located specifically for us. Absolutely. So can somebody write a sentence specifically where Site 1 is located? Where two roads meet. What is that called? Where two roads meet. What's the vocabulary for that? Yeah, it's an intersection. Thank you, Raya. Okay, so an intersection is where two or more roads join. Okay, know this vocabulary. By the way, guys and girls, when I'm giving you vocabulary like legend and like intersection, try to write that down. So when you're watching these live lessons, have a piece of paper and a pen. Write down new vocabulary that I'm teaching you. Write down sentences that I'm teaching you. And don't be shy. Say them out loud. It's okay if you're alone in a room or even if there's people around you. Say the word intersection. So say the word legend. Repeat after me, okay? Memorize these vocabulary as best as you can, okay? So this is an intersection. So then what can we write about this Site 1? So where is Site 1 located? Can someone answer this question for me? Where is Site 1 located? Abhik says Site 1 is located near the coastline and at an intersection of two roads. Something like this? Yes, absolutely. That's what I'm looking for, Abhik. Just even a little bit more specifically. So let me write that up for you. Site 1 is located at the intersection of two roads near the major settlement of Georgetown, the base, and the base and Cross Hill. So Site 1 is located at the intersection of two roads near the major settlement of Georgetown, the base, and Cross Hill. Okay. Ildar, using the word crossroads is going to be a little bit more tricky in this context, so I definitely suggest using the word intersection instead. Okay. All right. Now, what can be the next sentence? So what is a good sentence to follow this with? Can anybody give me a suggestion of what is a good sentence to follow this one with? So if we're looking at this map, what is a good sentence to follow this one up with? So here we have Site 1 located at the crossroads or at the intersection of two roads near the major settlement of Georgetown, Cross Hill, and the base. Okay, you can be more specific if your English is higher level. You can say Georgetown to the north, as well as Cross Hill, and the base to the south. What's a good thing to continue here with? Yeah, Raya, very good. Compare it to Site 2. So what is a good comparison of Site 2 here? What is similar in Site 2? What is similar in Site 2 to Site 1 in this case? The roads, that's right, Fatime. The roads, the intersections, that's similar. So let's start with that and say similarly, Site 1 is also located at the intersection of two roads. However, what? What can I continue here with? Yes, it is further away from the major, from the city of Georgetown, and the only settlement nearby is what? Let's have a look. Is Two Boats Village. Okay, so that's our first point of comparison and contrast. Now, notice here that I'm using a capital T, a capital B, and a capital V for Two Boats Village. Make sure that when you're writing proper nouns, your capitalizations are correct, okay? Periods come right after the letter, and then there's a space. I often see students making mistakes with that. Commas are the same, okay? So right after the last letter and then a space. All right. So let's have a look at the map again. What should we write about next? So what should we write about next for Site 1 or Site 2? Yeah, so Joe Ramos says, let's talk about the three animal habitats. That's good. Yeah, so you're kind of doing this moving back and forth between the two sites for compare and contrast and picking out the key elements. So let's talk about those three animal habitats, because probably people who go for an adventure company in the Caribbean here want to see animals. So we can see that that's probably a benefit to this Site 2. In addition, Site 2 is surrounded by three animal habitats for tourists to enjoy. Okay, and then what should I write after this? Vishal says there is no natural habitat around site 1. Good, guys, but make sure you're using your joining words. So when you're comparing and contrasting, words like similarly, however, in addition, these are very, very important words for you to get a high IELTS band score on your task 1. So make sure you're using that and try to use different ones throughout the essay. So use different words, okay? We've used similarly, we've used however, we've used in addition, we have used as where, okay, that's another one up here. So we've used these words. So let's use a different one here. What's a good word for this word here? Hatan, no, don't start sentences with and or but. Okay, that's not good. We generally don't do that in essays. So it's a good question or a good point. Do not start sentences with and, but, or. Okay. Generally in English, we do not start a sentence with and, but, or. Okay, so these are used to join sentences. We don't start sentences in essays with these words usually. Okay. Nonetheless is okay, Said, but I'm looking for a better word here. So a better word. In addition, Site 2 is surrounded by 3 animal habitats for tourists to enjoy. Nevertheless is okay. We're going to Site 1 here. Thank you, Yaz. I'm thinking of a different word. There's better words, girls and guys. There's better words. This one that I'm thinking of starts with co. Okay, we're trying to show a contrast here. We're trying to show that Site 1 is not surrounded by animal habitats. So Site 2 is surrounded by animal habitats. Site 1 is not surrounded by animal habitats. Raya, thank you. Conversely. So conversely, there are no animal habitats located near Site 1. All right, so now what can we write about next? So if we keep going with this, what can we write about next? So after we've written about the animal habitats, what's another good point to write about? So here we are, we indicated our points. Remember what else we talked about when we analyzed the map. What more can we say about Site 1 and Site 2? The mountain peak is definitely a good one. How can we move between the Site 1, Site 2, and the mountain peak? Before we talk about the mountain peak, don't forget what else is there. Similar distance from the craters, that's definitely a good one we can talk about. But here we can talk about the rivers. Yeah, very good, Raya and Asraf. We can talk a little bit about the rivers before we talk about the mountain peak or the craters. I would definitely mention the rivers because we're still on Site 1 here. So where is Site 1 located? Where is Site 1 located relative to the rivers there? Okay, and we can talk about Site 1 and Site 2 here. So notice that Site 2 is also along a river here. So can somebody create a sentence that describes where Site 1 and Site 2 are relative to these rivers? Yeah, so furthermore, Site 1 is planned between two rivers. Okay. And then what can I say to move back to Site 2? How about Site 2? Yeah, both sites are located between rivers. So nice, we can correct for that. Both Site 1 and Site 2 are planned between two rivers. Sure, yeah, and it's arguable. It's a little bit further away for the second river here, but Site 2 is also between two rivers. So that's a very nice comparison to make there. I agree. What kind of a conjunction am I using in this sentence? So for those of you who watch these lessons regularly, what type of conjunction am I using in this sentence here? Both and. And what type of conjunction is both and? They're correlative. That's right, guys and girls. So now we have a correlative conjunction here, and then here we have some other types of conjunctions. These are leading expressions of addition, however is used as a leading expression of contrast here, but that is a subordinating conjunction as well. So very good. So you want to use different kinds of conjunctions for this type of essay. Coordinating, correlative, and subordinating. If you don't know these, then definitely look at some of our other videos. Go to our website at aehelp.com, review the grammar lessons there to learn these, because it is very important to get your high IELTS score. Okay, so make sure to use correlative, coordinating, and subordinating conjunctions for comparisons and contrasts in Task 1 and Task 2 writing. Okay. So be sure to use these different kinds of conjunctions. These will get you the high scores that you're looking for over 6 in the IELTS exam, okay? So make sure that you do that. All right. So let's jump back to our essay. So there are no animal habitats located near Site 1. Both Site 1 and Site 2 is planned between two rivers. Good. Now we can talk about the mountain. So now we can talk about the peak. Okay. Can somebody give me the right sentence here for discussing peak, the location relative Site 1 and Site 2? Is the correct verb there, Emaine, is, because it is planned. It's a one plan. It's two sites, but it's one plan. Okay, sure. So Site 2 is located northwest from the peak. Zhao, I'm sympathetic to you. I know it's late in some countries, 3 a.m. Like I say, we will be locating an office in Europe next week, in Central Europe. So we will have different times so that different parts of the world can enjoy these lessons during the day. Okay? The sound problem, if you're still having some sound problems, Shilpa, it's probably the stream. Everything is good on my end, so it has to do with YouTube, so just be patient. Okay, Fatime says, additionally, the peak is advantageous factor for Site 2 because it is closer than for Site 1. Absolutely, yeah, so some sentence that's similar to that. So clearly, the peak is closer to Site 1 than Site 2. And you can keep it simple. You don't have to overcomplicate this sentence, okay? Careful with making assumptions, Yvonne. So you said besides the two-boat village, there's the mountain peak, which is central part of the island that tourists can hike. We don't know if tourists can hike it. Maybe it's very dangerous. Maybe it's not a type of mountain that you can hike or climb. So we don't know that. Task 1 is just an expository essay. You have to be careful not to make assumptions. So don't make assumptions, guys. Don't make assumptions in IELTS Task 1. It's just 150 words minimum. So you're writing between 150 and 200 words to get a high score. So far, we have 148 words. Okay? So far it's 148 words. So we're almost there. We don't need to write much more. This is all you have to do. It has to be clear and you will get a nice high score. Okay? So clearly the peak is closer to Site 1 than Site 2. Now, do we need to make more comparisons? Should we talk about the craters? Good question, Emaine. So if this is handwritten, what's the best way to count words? The best way to count your words is count words in 3 lines. So count the words for 3 lines, get the average, divide it by 3, and then multiply it by the number of lines that you have. Mohammed, that's awesome. I'm super glad you got 7 overall after watching our videos. That's great. Yeah, Vishal, I'm asking about the craters. So can we talk about the craters? Sure, if you have enough time, talk about the craters. Why not mention it, right? So how can we say this sentence about the craters, that they're both about the same distance from the craters? Okay, both sites are roughly the same distance from the craters. Nevertheless, because this is a contrast from the previous sentence, nevertheless is a good vocabulary here. Both sites are roughly the same distance from the craters. Okay, good. Sure. That's a great way to finish up on that last note. So here we go. Let's see what we have so far. I'm reading it from up at the top at the beginning. As we can see, this map depicts the 2 proposed sites for a tourist company on a Caribbean island. The first site is planned closer to the coast, as where the second site is inland. The legend describes the symbols shown in the map as animal habitat, road, and waterways. Site 1 is located at the intersection of 2 roads near the major settlements of Georgetown, the Base, and Cross Hill. Similarly, Site 1 is also located at the intersection of 2 roads. Site 2. Let's make a correction there. This is why you should always review your work. Similarly, Site 2 is also located at the intersection of 2 roads. However, it is further away from the city of Georgetown, and the only settlement nearby is Two Boats Village. In addition, Site 2 is surrounded by 3 animal habitat for tourists to enjoy. Conversely, there are no animal habitats located near Site 1. Both Site 1 and Site 2 is planned between 2 rivers. Clearly, the peak is closer to Site 1 than Site 2. Nevertheless, Both sites are roughly the same distance from the craters. Okay. No, this is an is, guys. A couple of you have asked me about this be verb, if it's an is or an are. It's an is because it is planned. So the plan is just one. It's modifying the verb here of planning. Okay. So it's not are located. Site 1 and Site 2 is located near the two rivers. They're individual. Okay. It's not confusing, Fatime. It's quite clear. So if somebody's reading this carefully and they have that map in front of them, it's quite clear what's going on here. All right. Let's talk about the last part, the summary. So what can I write for the summary for this map? Yeah, Eman, you can use the word isodistant, sure, as long as you can use it well. Sure, to sum up. Yeah, that's a good way to start it off. Shaumik. Yeah, to sum up. That's very nice, Safa. So both Site 1, and you can use this notation. So both Site 1 and Site 2 have some advantages and disadvantages. So what? To sum up, both Site 1 and Site 2 have some advantages and disadvantages, which this adventure company needs to consider before establishing their business. Okay. So to sum up, both Site 1 and Site 2 have some advantages and disadvantages which this adventure company needs to consider before establishing their business, or need to explore. Sure, is a good word as well, Zhao. Why not? I'll take your word. And it's actually a pun in this case because it has a double meaning. Explore means consider, but explore also because they're an adventure company. So, haha, that's a pun. For those of you with advanced English, you should be able to figure out what I mean when I say explore is a pun in this example. Okay, great. What's the word count? Let's see. Word count is, drum roll, 182 words. So 182 words, it's very good. It's between 150 and 200. That's about how much you need. The maps are this clear. If you look at it carefully, it is clear. This is not too much, Emaine. 182 words is not too much. It's a 150 word minimum. Okay, that's the absolute minimum. So 150 words, Emaine, is minimum. You don't want to shoot for the absolute minimum. You need to do a little bit more, okay? Yeah, pun is a play on words. That's right, Raya. Okay, so this would get probably about so it's 182 words. And my guess is if you wrote this essay for this map, you would get an IELTS Band 8. Okay, so this would be an IELTS Band 8 for IELTS, academic IELTS. And you don't need to shoot for better, okay? As long as you don't have grammar mistakes or spelling mistakes, you will get an 8 for something like this. If you have a few grammar mistakes or spelling mistakes, you will still get a 7, okay? Who wants to see a 9? Does anybody want to see a 9 level for this? I can show it to you. I have the answer for a level 9. Does everybody want to see a perfect score? What's a perfect score answer? I'll show you a perfect score answer. All right. So, if I jump back to the map here, let me just make it a bit smaller So you'll see the text here. So this map that we're looking at, it's actually in our book, and we're looking at it in the answer key section. So again, guys and girls, these materials are coming from aehelp.com. This is our website. This is where you get all this kind of help. And here is the level 9 suggested response for this question. So I'll read this for you. Let me make sure you can see the full text on the screen. All right. Okay, so this would be a level 9 response. You'll see that it's a little bit longer, bit higher level vocabulary. This island map depicts 2 possible building sites for a new tourist company somewhere in the Caribbean. At first glance, it is clear that Site 1 is planned closer to the major settlement of Georgetown, while the second location is more inland. As well, according to the legend, animal habitats, waterways, and roadways are shown. Okay, that's a passive sentence. Looking at the map and locations in more detail, Site 1 is closer to larger human populations. Not only is it near Georgetown, which is slightly west, but also to the base and Cross Hill. Succinctly, Site 1 is located at the intersection of some roadways and coastal waterways. Site 1's proximity to the coast and larger human settlements likely make it more readily accessible for tourists. On the other hand, Site 2 is located closer to the center of the island, just east of Two Boats Village. It is surrounded by animal habitats on all sides and sits at the intersection of 3 roadways. As well, the mountain peak is much closer to Site 2 than Site 1. Site 2 has some river endings close to it which flow towards the island's coast. In summary, when comparing the 2 locations, it is clear that both likely have different advantages and disadvantages for this adventure company to further consider. Okay, so here is an example of a response that would get a band 9. Again, you can find these types of sample responses in our website at aehelp.com, and then you can see, of course, this is an answer key that we're looking at, so task 2 follows. Again, guys and girls, if you like these live lessons, you want to see more high-definition, pre-recorded, state-of-the-art videos to help you with IELTS, 6 full practice exams, and a fully interactive course that you can use on your tablet, phone, and computer, join us at aehelp.com, okay? As you can see from people who are writing in the chat, those of you who lessons use our materials, usually can get a score of 7 or more, all right? We have a lot of students in the world who have passed IELTS. Yes, sell your materials, but because we love to help you succeed. So definitely join us there. If you're studying for general IELTS, then please join us at www.gieltshelp.com. Okay, that's for our general IELTS. We're one of the only companies in the world that separate academic and general IELTS materials because, of course, different people need these different tests, so it makes sense. All right, guys and girls, for those of you who have written your IELTS exams this weekend, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that you're getting some super great scores. Our next live IELTS streaming will continue March 6th, okay? We will have new office in Europe, so we will have more time for live lessons, and we'll have some other teachers as well. So thank you so much for watching today. You guys and girls are awesome. We love teaching you. We love supporting you. Make sure you check us out on our websites, and I look forward to teaching you more. And don't hesitate to contact us if you have questions. You can find out our contact information on our websites. Ask us questions and we'll help you some more. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day or have a great sleep. I know it's very late for some of you. Make sure you get some good rest. And I will see you in about 10 days' time. Bye-bye. Bye for now.